In the highlands of western Kenya, where the maize fields dance with the wind and ancestral spirits speak in dreams, there lived a man named Wakisa, a respected elder, a man of deep tradition, and a father of one son, Barasa. Wakasa had built his name with the sweat of his back and the wisdom of the elders before him. His land stretched wide across the ridges, and in the center stood the family shrine, the sacred place where generations sought blessings, protection, and truth. Barasa, his first and only son, was 24 years old. He was a man of quiet strength, humble in word, but fierce in spirit. He had been raised on the rhythm of the Isakuti drum, taught the stories of his people by firelight, and trained to one day inherit the staff of his father, the Esimbuko, a carved symbol of leadership passed down through the bloodline. But not all blood stays loyal. Wakasa had a younger brother named Abilo, charismatic in public, venomous in private. For years he had watched his brother rise, loved by the community, blessed with land and family, while he, Abilo, stood in the shadows. And in those shadows, envy grew. When Wakasa suddenly fell ill and died under strange circumstances, the village mourned. But behind closed doors, Abilo smiled. Tradition dictated that Barasa, as the firstborn, would inherit his father's land in the Esimbuko. But as the day of the inheritance ceremony approached, Abilo began to whisper poison into the ears of the elders. "He is not truly Wakasa's son," Abilo said. "There is doubt, there is shame. Let us not risk cursing the land by placing the staff in the hands of the unworthy." Mama Acheng, Barasa's mother, knew something was wrong. Her dreams had been filled with shadows. Her late husband had spoken to her in visions. "Protect our son," he whispered. "The one who wears my smile must finish what I began." Still, Abilo pressed on. He bribed elders with goats. He bribed drunk men with millet beer. He claimed he had proof that Barasa was born out of wedlock, and that the ancestors would punish the village if the boy took the Esimbuko. Barasa was torn between grief and confusion. He could feel his father's spirit in the wind, urging him not to back down. But the whispers of betrayal had grown too loud. In the midst of the storm stood Ajuma, a young woman from a neighboring village. She was 22, fierce and brilliant, and Barasa's heart had long belonged to her. But her father had warned her, "Stay away from the cursed family. Their roots are rotting." Ajuma did not listen. One night she brought Barasa a leather pouch. Inside it was a scroll sealed with dried banana fiber and cowrie shells. "My father kept this hidden," she said. "It is a letter from your father." Barasa's hands trembled as he opened it. It was Wakasa's final truth, written before his death, confessing that Abilo had once tried to steal the Esimbuko many years ago and had been banished from the shrine for breaking sacred law. He had returned after pretending to change, but his envy had never died. The letter was signed with the sacred mark of Wakasa's blood. Barasa now knew the truth, but words were not enough. He had to stand before the shrine, hold the Esimbuko, and let the ancestors decide. The day of the inheritance came. The village gathered, drums echoed through the valley, a fire was lit at the foot of the shrine. Abilo stood tall, dressed in ceremonial kitenge, holding a cane carved with snake patterns. Barasa stood across from him, barefoot, dressed in a simple wrapper of bark cloth and beads. "I challenge his right," Abilo declared. "Let the ancestors strike the liar down." The elder lifted the Esimbuko, preparing to hand it to Barasa. The sky darkened. A sudden gust of wind swept through the trees. The fire flared violently, and then silence. A voice rose from the shrine, deep, ancient, and unmistakable. "Barasa is my blood."